Hey guys, we're back with our penultimate team of the day, Team KaliedoGeeks from KaleidoFin. So we have their team members on stage and they've asked me to play their video, which is what I'll do now. Their 12 minutes starts now.
Hello to all Hackathon enthusiasts and judges. This is Team KaleidoFin. First off, I want to thank Sahamati for this wonderful opportunity. Let me tell you quickly about KaleidoFin. We're a neobank. We focus on financial inclusion for the underserved population in India, which is close to a little over 600 million people. For this hackathon, we stayed true to KaleidoFin's DNA, which is we love data. So what did we do? We created 3 products, which we strongly felt brought out the best of the AA model. Well, what is it, right? So we built a bot experience so that it's easy for the customers to understand the benefits and to share insights from their data. So we did that. Well, when you get information from customer, even a little, you're supposed to give back. So we built a budgeting tool to help them and focus on saving. So we already have a goal-based saving. So we did that. And finally, my favorite is the crystal ball. Well, it's a financial crystal ball. We set out to answer a very simple question. Can I look into the future for a financial decision I'm going to make right now? Right, so let's see this in action. Let me walk you through the KaleidoFin app. It starts with Mobo, your friendly robo-advisor, who will take some basic personal information. The idea here is you get the most fundamental information so that we can start showing you a healthy spending pattern. Now, we believe that when you get information from a customer, you give back to them value. So this is our first step of doing that. This is the recommended spending pattern that we're showing for this customer. We're also allowing them to potentially customize this. But in order to personalize, we ask them to give access to their accounts. We're using One Money to gain access and get consent from the customer. The moment we get all the information from the customer, the homepage completely personalized for them. It talks about their total expenses, how much money they left based on how much budget they've set. We start showing spending areas. We start talking about how much money in each spending area is left. And we also want to take this opportunity to show you that the data that's being obtained via the account aggregator, Mobo is smart enough to start consuming that data. Here we're showing a simple example of showing balance. And finally, we get into what does it mean to manage your money smarter. Here, based on how much amount is left, we're asking the customer to set up their goals. Here, the customer chooses child education. They set their goal, and within a couple of clicks, you're set up for a goal, and you're on your way to managing multiple goals along with the budgets that you've set to be successful. We believe that we need to help a customer in the system in which that they live rather than just parts of it. What you see here is the personal financial crystal ball answering a very simple question. Can I look into the future for the financial decisions I'm making right now? Right. So for this demo, we're going to pick a person who saves whenever possible, right? What their monthly income, how much they save, the family member, their profession, all that are similar data points that we receive from the AA. For this one though, we categorize how they should spend their money as food, medical, family, miscellaneous, and social, right? We have certain proportions. And now, once I hit generate here, what's happening is it's taking all these simulation data points to come up with simulation models for this person. Well, it answers some of the very critical questions. How much will I be worth in 60 months? Based on my savings, with current habit savings, what is the probability for me to take a loan? How much outstanding loan will I have? will I ever get into debt trap? So all this information is automatically calculated for them in the simulation model. It's not pretty, but making it pretty is the easy part. But ability to look at your future before it happens is possible by this simulation model. Thank you.
Super. You guys have 7 minutes left.
Okay. I can give a quick demo of the one of the major piece that we have worked on, which is the simulation. I'm just Ariman, can you help me out and sharing the screen? Or?
Yeah, there's a button at the bottom.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yeah. Also, I think your colleague Raki is having some issues. So is it okay if I remove him from the stage?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one of the major pieces that we have worked on, which is to simulate a person's future. So here it basically, we have categories. Since I know this is for the informal segment, which is about 600 million in India alone. Globally, it's about 2 billion, which is about 1/4 of the global population. We want to integrate couple of parameters which we need to look at. Say here we have categorized them into people who can save regularly versus irregularly, and who's find difficulty in saving. So I pick one of the profession. So behind this, what we have also worked on is whether this person is a laborer, this is a teacher. These are based on some reading that we have done, where we got the distribution for each of the occupation, and then we have integrated. So if you see the spending pattern and the income pattern of these informal segment, they have a lot of variation in income and also in expenses as well. So what we have done here is we have classified the income and expenses into primary and discretionary ones. Say for example, here the food expense is something we have set it as 15. This is something we have just set it for the demo. In the backend, we can actually I can change to anything. This is the parameter that we'll get from the distribution. So what it does is basically the one in the first line is like food, medical, family expenses, miscellaneous, and social expenses. So this will have a lot of variation. Say for example, when someone has a lower income, because the volatility is there in the income as well. So when the person has a lower income or is without a job, the first thing the person is going to cut is discretionary expenses. So discretionary expenses will come in both in any of these things. Say food can also have a discretionary expenses. Say for example, they don't buy meat or something, which is something they can cut and then still focus on what are the basic needs. So that's why we have the second line, which second tab, which is primarily for the setting up the variations, and the third one is allowing for the maximum in the simulation. So these things will the max is not going to be the income, because say for example, the medical expense can go over a person's income. So the person can basically borrow from someone and then meet some other medical expenses, because that is not something which is always possible to postpone. So once we generate with this setup, this is something we can modify based on each of the occupation. So all the settings for these are going to come from the data that we have. So to understand a person's future, we also need to understand
3 minutes left.
Sorry. Okay.
Just give me a 3 minutes.
Okay, so the person's life is dependent on lots of factors, and the future will not just have things like savings, but then will have. It's not just the savings the person has to look at, because the person might need to borrow sometimes, and then might encounter job loss, or someone in the family or the person who's earning in the family might meet with an accident, or with some other unexpected event. So what is the chances of something happening is simulated here, and then we have projected what are the things that could happen and how these finances are going to affect for this person. So I'll quickly stop this and then take questions without taking much time. Yeah. So what we are focused is, for a person, it's the life goal which is very, very important. And the life goal is not just savings. The person might need to take some loan. The person might need some protection as well. So we identify what are the different things that is required to be, taken care of and to be executed.
Any questions from our judges? We have 2 minutes for questions.
Any thoughts on, you mentioned that this is primarily for the underbanked, unbanked, but that doesn't seem to jive well with the kind of the need to understand the simulation output, which is, a grid of charts, right? It seems like it would require a fair amount of sophistication for someone to be able to make sense of and utilize these simulations.
Okay, so our objective is not to show this to the customer. Rather, we want to use all these information and then give advice to the customer, because most of these customers are not financially literate. So we can't basically say that you need to take an insurance, because people don't believe that insurance is very very much important. That's one reason why insurance is not penetrated well in India, especially in the informal segment. It's very difficult. So what we use is primarily use all these information and give a suggestion to the customer. We say that this is the right solution for you, because given your income and expenses and the variation in your income and expense, and of course your occupation, these are the things which is which will give a optimal solution. So, for example, we say that we just make a promise to the customer saying that you are saving for your goal, and when you are saving for your goal is going to be protected. Meaning, we don't say that we are purchasing an insurance for you to protect the goal. Rather, we say we are protecting your goal, which is like a person might be saving for her kids' education, probably 50,000 rupees over 3 years or 4 years, which might look like a very small amount, but then this is something in the informal segment, it's a very big amount, and they don't think about insurance, but protecting this goal is one of the key thing that we need to consider. So, right, this doesn't make all these graphs are something which doesn't make sense for customers. So this is just for demo for internal purpose and for the hackathon. But the learning from here is the one that we are going to use for the customer.
We've crossed 12 minutes. If there's any last comments or questions from the judges, we can very quickly just do that. But we are over time. Okay, looks like nothing from the judges. But thank you very much, Team KaliedoGeeks. Really nice. I thought it was very cool the way you guys have plotted everything out. So thank you very much. I'm going to remove you from stage, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with our next team, Team Navana. So
thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Please stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
All right.